What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. All right. So today's video is going to consist about a little bit of maybe potentially some negativity. I like to call this one the big payback. So in our line of business, we're very, at least for me, right? I was very sensitive when I first got into real estate, right? You go through these emotions, right? You're getting into a new field. You're trying to make it. It's almost like you get to a point like you feel like you're drowning, right? You're nervous. You're stressed out, right? You're trying to make some deals. You're trying to make some money. And I recall that one time I had a family member who ended up selling their home with another realtor. And man, I just could not believe that they would do that. I mean, close family member, right? And I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm out here, my mind, right? I'm out here struggling. I used to show houses sometimes with no gas in my tank because I didn't have any money, right? I was, seriously on an empty tank of gas. Luckily, the houses were close by my office. Many times I didn't have money to eat food, right? You're struggling, right? You go through these struggles and obviously, you make it out, But anyways, I recall that, man, and I just couldn't believe it, man. I was honestly, I was distraught for like literally an entire week or 2 weeks, right? I was mad at the world. I was like, I can't believe that they know I'm out here trying to make it, and they're working against me, and et cetera and et cetera. And I really. It really got to me. It really got to me. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because a lot of my realtors in our company have had this, recently happen to them. and I laugh about it now because I remember the emotions that I went through. And it's the exact same thing. It's almost like deja vu, right? You're so insulted, you're disrespected, you're mad, and I can't believe this. And it's very unfortunate. It is unfortunate to go through something like that. It's demoralizing almost to the point where you're just like am I not good enough, right? And Mike Ferry, which is one of our mentors, we go a lot to his seminars. Years back, had mentioned one thing that really stuck with me, right? It really got embedded in me, and that was that a lot of the times your family members, friends, or all these people on Instagram are living a lie. Right? And they're living a lie by way of showing that they have more than what they actually have, right? And also the fact that they don't want people to know what they actually have in their bank account, whether it's positive or negative, right? And I remember really grasping onto that conversation, that speech that Mike Ferry was given on stage, because I was like, you know what? That's a different way of looking at it, right? That is true. And I started thinking back. And I started thinking, well, that makes a lot of sense. If I was living a lie on Instagram, right, I don't want people to expose me and know the truth that, hey, I have no money in my bank account. Hey, I'm broke, right? I'm negative. And a couple years fast forward from that date, I ended up selling a home for a friend of ours. And I remember that on Instagram, living the life, I was like, wow. That's excellent. Beautiful cars, beautiful house, the whole shebang, right? And I was like, damn, they're doing very well for themselves, right? Flying here, flying there. And I was like, wow, that's cool, man. That's awesome. How do I do that, right? So anyways, I ended up selling their house. And what I come to find out was they couldn't afford it. Credit cards were maxed out, right? They were selling the house to pay off a lot of that debt. And I was just thinking to myself, like, it just like a light went off, and I was like, wow, that's what he meant. That's what they were talking about that day. So it's not that it's not going to hurt, right? Because yes, no matter what, you're still going to be mad about it, or you're still going to be negative about it. But it does put things in perspective. I remember I used to get mad, right, when I used to go to listing appointments, and I mentioned this to my realtors all the time, right? I used to go to listing appointments, and man, it used to kill me not to get the listing contract signed. Or even worse, got the listing contract signed and then they would fire me. And even worse, when they hire someone else, I was like, oh, it doesn't get any worse than that. And it used to just mess with my head, man. I mean, I was like, I don't know if it was my ego. I don't know if it was just I was going through a difficult time and I needed to breathe, right? I'm drowning and I need to, breathe, close some deals so that I can, have a little bit of money in the account, and pay my bills on time. And I it's still, even sometimes now when I don't take a listing, or me and the seller don't click, or they don't hire me for the job, it still bothers me, right? But not as long as it did before, right? With experience comes time, right? And now it bothers me maybe for an hour or so. Think about what happened, what could have I done differently, et cetera, and then move on with my life. So those of you, right, that are struggling with people like that, right? It may potentially be that you're new in the business, right? They something, it's very important for them, right? They want to make sure that they have the right person. They may be living a lie, right? And or more importantly, guess what? More importantly, they don't want their personal business to be talked about in the family, because it could be positive or it could be negative. Positive meaning they have a lot of money in the bank account, and hey, cousin's gonna hit them up. Hey, what's up, man? Can I borrow some money? Or negative, right? That they're living a lie. They're showing up to the family functions, in beautiful cars and beautiful bags, beautiful shoes, and etc. And the reality is that you and I both know that they're maxed out. The richest people in the world, right? The richest people in the world didn't get there, because they wanted to show off things, right? They got there because they had a personal agreement with themselves, right? That they wanted more out of life. Which brings me back to the, dealing with a lot of my, when I first got into real estate, I was in the trustee sale business. And I remember going to these trustee sales, and I remember, looking at a bunch of people that didn't look like much, right? I looked at them and I was like, okay, well, whatever, And I used to always show up with the suit. I mean, till this day, right? A tie and a suit. That's what I believe in. Let me fix my tie a little bit here. But I used to show up there and I used to be like, man, these how are they investors? How do they have money, right? That's crazy, right? Well, man, these guys were all multimillionaires, showing up in sandals, showing up in shorts, right? Their line of business was to be an investment, not to be a realtor. So, but they weren't living a lie. I mean, they could have been out there with the Louis Vuittons and, and the whole shebang, the flossing, right? Beautiful cars. And most of these guys showed up in the little Hondas, the little Toyotas, and some of them even showed up in work vans. And I was like, how the hell is that even possible, right? Just to blow my mind. So it just goes to show you, right? You can never judge a book by its cover, good or bad, right? In fact, I always say, stay in your own lane, right? Why are you taking time out of your schedule to judge somebody else's life, good or bad, right? Good if it's, maybe a motivational. Bad is it's negative. Why even waste your time on something like that, right? So, long story short, if you don't have any more deals and you're expected that, oh my God, my family members should list my home, they should list their home with me, right? Then you're not doing your daily activities, right? You should not be depending on that one deal, right? If you would have had 10 deals, put it this way, if you had 10 deals and a family member listed their home with someone else, would that hurt as much? I don't think so. I mean, obviously, a little insulted, a little disrespected, right? But it is what it is. But if you only have one deal or 0 deals and you're expected that one deal, my uncle should have listed with me, it blows you up. But see, that's an issue that you created for yourself. That's a problem that you created. Don't blame the family member, right? Blame yourself. Take responsibility. That happened to me back in 2010, I recall, we were going to be selling a home to a family member, and I was excited, right? Because, that's when the market had crashed. There was no business, and things were coming around, and I'm, trying to get my business back rolling again. This is after we opened up the gym, right? We didn't make any money inside the gym. We spent so much money in there, and that thing was just negative month after month after month. So we're like, me and my brother were like, hey, well, we got to get back into real estate. It's what we're good at. It's what we're experts at, right? So we started to get back in. Well, boom, first family members like, hey, want to buy a house, and I was, oh man, perfect. Got them qualified. I think it was a perfect timing. And showed them a couple houses, exactly what they wanted, and then they ghosted me. They completely ghosted me, which I felt very disrespected and insulted because, again, it was the only deal that I had on the table, and I've already showed them homes, and I was excited, right? And they turn around and buy a house with someone else without even telling me until we find out months later. And then, they come to family functions like nothing ever happened and this and this. And I was, at the time, I was really pissed, right? I was insulted. I was disrespected. I couldn't even stand looking at them, right? But with time, I started to understand, especially after that conversation with that speech that Mike Ferry gave on stage. I was like, I started to comprehend things, and then I was like, you know what? I don't need them, right? I got plenty of business, right? The last thing I want is for someone on mine, right, to tell me, oh, you made it because of me, right? No, I made it because of myself, because of my work ethic, because of what I do, right? So it actually felt really good, the fact that they didn't buy a home with me. But crazy thing is, a lot of the times these family members are the ones that end up coming back and asking you for advice. Hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Regarding their home. And it's just something that just a little bit mind-boggling, right? But I always say, man, just do your best. Stay positive. It's a very difficult business to stay positive in, right? Stay focused. Stay engaged. Stay in the business, right? Because no matter what you do in life, right? No matter whether you're a construction worker, you're a warehouse worker, whatever you do, if you do the best to your job, to your abilities, people are always watching. When somebody wants their company to grow, everybody's watching everybody, right? So sooner or later, you will shine, whether it be in real estate, whether it be a mortgage lender, whether it be, whatever it is you're doing in life, right? It's just a struggle. It's hard, and it's hard to stay positive. It is very difficult, right? Some people are stronger than others. But if you're not one of those, if you're one of the person that is maybe not that very strong, right? Try to surround yourself with people that are strong, right? Because that will make you strong, right? Maybe not as strong as them, but it will give you some sort of strength. So I'll leave you guys with that one. The big payback, right? Stay away from that. You don't need that in your life. Do your daily activities that you're supposed to do to the best of your abilities and put in that work. Because no matter what, outworking someone will always get you ahead in life, if you're paying attention, right, to what's going on. You guys have a great day. Take care. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.